It's a pleasure, honor, and last but not least, great adventure. Meetings with quite a large Polish team are started by Szczepan Kopyt. We also invite you to other meetings with Polish writers and critics. Szczepan is a poet, musician, and editor. In Poland, he is one of the most influential writers of the younger generation. Szczepan will perform with music and read some of his poems, also in Polish. The poet will give you a few copies of small books prepared especially of our meeting. Enjoy.
I will start from not so political in bridge poems. And to be honest, this is the first time that I'm doing this in English, so I feel a little bit, shaking. I saw the ditch, the sun journeys down, pure as a semen after several days of love. I saw the electrified countries traveled by their trains, spoke their tongues, they gave me bread and welcomed me with tobacco and cursing. I saw two canvas houses, triangle-shaped, the breasts of their women, the cry of their kids. So, instruments, they played inaudibly. The brightest cobblestone, the sun went right through me. I had no shadow and they said, here is a man with no shadow. Vanitas est adequatio reet intellectus. I'd fall asleep in public places and be the first one up. I saw a number of their sons, and each and every one was you. And when I fell asleep, I'd be cut up and have my teeth turned out. Female figures tempted me, and I drank from their cup. Not remembering my names, yours, mine's, anybody's. I saw so many people so dissimilar to me that their crimes ceased to surprise me. I felt the time like I'm growing, although it was different from the sun which I observed more and more closely. Oh, star of day, I was introduced to writing and would read their wisdom full of stupidity. I suffered flesh and bones. Unable to bear the songs of their poets. Verily, that was a rocky music. I would hear its words from all around, but I was solitary. I knew too the contents of the unspoken thoughts, mine and not mine. In them I placed my hope, and they would mature like turnstiles of dawns and shadows, the cindered mists. Salt transformed into sugar, yes. Incarnated to know, I would sing songs to the sun, to the accompaniment of thick robes of God. One day I was told of stale bread and I said, bring me the bread. They gave it to me and I ate. And I saw the ditch down which moon goes, pure as a semen after days of love exertions. I saw the electrified countries traveled by the trains, spoke their tongues. And I saw piles of bread as hard as rocks and rivers empty, grass as photosensitive as kilometers of tape music. And the earth peeled off its shells far, far away, getting smaller and smaller. A small poem made of sauerkraut. Sauerkraut. The compliance of word and thought, looking farther still past the church towers and the Soviet-era suburbs. I see green hills. The city is surrounded by sand dunes. Abrasion, integration. Tourists are born in a frenzy. In hotels there's a Holocaust. No one will wipe smiles of sales girls. Sailors dock at the sun-bathed chests. I melt down like a bar of German chocolate. German chocolate? There are things we do not understand. Gentlemen, our set of actions multiplying at a freezing rate. Hegel, the left. Marx, bam. And then what? Being determines consciousness of a smoothbore weapon. The colonizers were usually preceded The colonizers were usually preceded by the merchants. Zbigniew Herbert. The histories of wars become the look similar, while words are the same. Foreigners want to be foreign again because they are foreigners. Again, the 17-year-old widow. The 17-year-old widow who blew herself up on a metro, left behind some photos. There's no way you can sympathize with her. She has the charm of Dr. Che Guevara. Such a large-scale perspective is inhuman. We keep on going after all. A finite quantity of matter turns into humanity. Culture, 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 is a work-related accident. Either or, we say to one another, looking at the inglorious end of the former and the latter. Either or, we think, but a word sound is just a dull rhythm of a pulse. Dull rhythm of a pulse. Dull. Outraged animal rips apart the crowd. Plane slams into building. Heaps of books fuels holy flames. Holy fucking flame! The next one is written 6 years ago during Turkish invasion to Iraqi border. And it's called Hash Kobane. I'm scrolling down a page of pictures. Decapitated heads of girls who didn't have much choice but to learn quickly how to shoot. And done uniforms with the red star. The media is asleep. But dust with gasoline, the houses and streets of Kobane burn. the airmen of wealthy nations sleep. Correspondent, its fortifying supplements, the free world, with great effort, fight terrorism. The virtual scroll bar, especially alive. But it doesn't reach out to help the men and women, the elderly and young, who lie on barricades, encircled by captured tanks made in America, and clothed in wrong uniforms with the red star. What is red might only be blood. The flood of Turkish spring fates. Who will remember next autumn the hero Arin Mirkan, or the thousands of anonymous and unimportant fighters warring against those of great fate? The final trembling timpani of the ode to joy. In our eyes, it grows in darkness. The frightfully mute rectangle, the reflected screen. That's how Kobane defends itself. Don't forget. Kobane. 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 The chosen ones. And finally, let us welcome those few for whom capitalism is a spiritual adventure, who as themselves say reach for the new, because vegetation's not enough for them. Not enough for them. So free from the social origins of value that they prepared to submit them to the very last drop. So sage that they get their speculating in last resorts in the prices of grub. In last resorts, better sing poetry and better writing, hence unfit to share their genius, casting crumbs on fossilized ambrosia out into the world. Bang, bang, boom. Inspired orally and anally, immaculated as an apartment in developer condition, and full of brilliant insights about their neighbors who sometimes could do them harm. Which is why they offer them cages, giving them keys to those cages. Just look at the majestic free flow of capital. Their lofty light-winged thoughts, caviar for the starved stomachs, Oh, your lows are in fact highs, and pale, pale is our joy. Welcome them warmly. I want to hear thunderous applause. And then you run out of cash, and now it's even more targeted at tomorrow. And the cigarettes are targeted at the lungs. Work at you. Work at you. And love that has its own name, its own history, is the history of class struggle. Free single and the dominant factor of survival. Factor of survival. Valuated body and the time of calories lost. The streets, the streets, the streets are full of targets and statistical error. Electricity and gas call for the liberation war of the oppressed, of the future. But all this is a dream in which you are unable to run and you cannot scream. You working class, you working class. And all you can see, all you can see in the mirror are monsters. The streets are full of targets. The streets are full of targets. The streets. All you can see in the mirror are monsters. The streets are full of targets. next poem I will say first in English, and then you will actually hear Polish language. It is always odd experience. It's called We. I see the proletariat on the city streets. I see proletariat on the city streets. I see proletariat on the city streets. I see the proletariat on the city streets. You know, actually, I want to say that in Poland, especially, and in every post-Soviet countries, neoliberal politics think that proletariat disappeared. They even don't get the idea of the, you know, global division of work, and they want to see themselves as, you know, middle classes, which is of course wrong. Dressed up in costumes, divided by the sectors of labor, united around consumption, torn by conflicting goals, bounded by alcohol, drugs and nightlife, educated but working like robots over the next, even most niche of commodities. Non-abstract labor of the composite worker. Not average work, but actual work. Divided by the real existing churches, by realistically existing parties, even most progressive ones. It's all a sad meme. Rich shopping malls start dying from basement, pure from the top stores. Grocery store with premium products taken over by a light-serving chain is a sign of movement, revealing another detail of the system, like the first rain smelling of spring reveals spring. This for fried junk in sleeve is a cure for the quasi-needs of the sport campaign to fight cancer. Thousands of workplaces. What's wrong with these commodity propaganda workers? What with the butcher and the middle tier of military? I see the entire future proletariat, currently different stratas, classes and ranks, students, pupils, absorbed by the ultimate system, graciously bestowing the world market with a draw of places for the primary accumulation initiated by columns of arms companies through the summa summarum racism. The lottery drawing machine is not empty. Someone's making their ads and raises the level of reproduction in a cunning dance of brain, telling himself that he's looking out for himself. We call it consolation, although pretend is a cure or sublime therapy for the elite of emotions. What's wrong with these cars and cheese? The tie and bending over the beat is by the 1% wannabe. You have to see it disjointed to talk about it, they say, is an extra. You may frown. I see the proletariat on the city streets. I see the proletariat on the city streets. I see. So now it is the time to present one poem in Polish and in English. I will start from Polish. Starsi. Nowe rewolty. Frakcyjne przewroty, frykcyjne ruchy tektonicznych płyt, z głowami i pięściami w świetlistych bramach jutra. Sądziliśmy, że udało się wreszcie pozbyć starych szmat, zrzucić buty z second handu na wąskich korytarzach, mijać żwawo mrukliwych dzbanów, żylaste sklerotyczki, otworzyć okna w gabinetach, nakazać używać dziurkaczy do przemiany konfetti z archiwum na czas zwycięstw i śmiać się, lecz wciąż są z nami, czuć to po zapachach. Wszędzie się panoszą podpowiadacze słów, gestów, stulatki ciamkające biszkopciki z herbatką, dwustulatkowie i starsi wlepieni zaciętym wzrokiem w puls bieżących zdarzeń, biografii, zwrotów akcji. Potrafią dnie całe mamrocać, wkurzać i nużyć, lecz głównie milczą i straszą, jakby nie obejmował ich dress code na przystankach tramwajów w przedziwnych strojach z epoki, w telewizyjnych setkach tuż za plecami ważniaków, na zgromadzeniach, w książkach i na autorskich spotkaniach, na krzesłach, które zdają się puste i w lustrach. Elders. New revolts, factional upheavals, frictional movement of tectonic plates. With heads and fists in the luminous gates of tomorrow, we thought we had finally managed to get rid of old rags. Shed second-hand shoes in the narrow corridors, past nimbly gloomy pricks and veiny sclerotics, to open windows in offices, order to use of punchers, to turn archives into confetti for the times of victories, and laugh. But they are still with us. You can tell it by the smells. The prompters of words and gestures are everywhere. centenarians nibbling biscuits with tea, 200 years older and older, with their fierce eyes fixed on the pulse of current events, biographies of twists of turns, can spend days mumbling, annoying and boring, but mostly remain silent and scary, as if the dress code doesn't apply to them. At tram stops, in bizarre period costumes, on television interviews, behind the backs of the big shots, at gatherings, in books, and at altar meetings, on chairs that seem to be empty, and in mirrors.